It's time for qualifying for the FIA Formula 2 Championship here at the Azerbaijan Baku City Street Circuit. We're moments away from the session starting as well in around about 30 seconds time as well. Myself and Tom alongside you in the commentary box. And Tom, as we get ready for the session, there's a lot to look forward to. We're back to the normal qualifying route and this is going to be fun.
Yep, this is going to be very much fun for the field contesting this Baku circuit, 6 kilometers long. 30 minutes of qualifying. We know how imperative this session will be for both the sprint and feature races. Could be one of the most unpredictable race weekends of the season. And in the championship, a couple of drivers making their debuts. And of course, we've got the likes of Leo Fornaroli, who's the man in form and gunning to keep it up and complete what could be a feat of which George Russell, Charles Leclerc, Mick Schumacher, Oscar Piastri and Gabriel Bortoleto have been able to do in the past and win the F3 and F2 to back.
Just hearing that there might be a few minutes delayed to qualifying as the marshals are checking a few more things after what happened in Formula 1, and we had a red flag test procedure as well, so we'll keep an eye on things as it gets ready to get going. But here it comes then, coming up in around about 30 seconds time. It's F2 qualifying. Fornaroli's just come into the pit lane as well, ready to go. 30 minutes on the clock, as Tom mentioned, for an unpredictable qualifying session here in Azerbaijan. Stay tuned. This one is going to get very, very interesting. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy. On the commentary at F2, it's Chris McCarthy and Alex Brundle, and alongside you here on JB Motorsports, it's Josh Birch and Tom Cans. All set then for qualifying at round 12 of the FIA Formula 2 Championship in 2025. We're in Azerbaijan at the Baku City Street Circuit, right alongside the Caspian Sea, in a championship year that has been up and down more times than this circuit's elevation change, which is at 27 metres, 6.003 kilometres, 21 laps of the sprint, 29 for the feature, mixture of the old and new as well. 2 DRS zones running parallel alongside each other. Now, Pirelli have brought with them the soft and super soft compound, which is the same as what we saw last year. That record here, though, is a 152.129, maximum speed over 300. It's a low downforce, high brake wear, low tyre usage, high fuel consumption type of circuit. That's exactly what we're waiting to see as we're about to get the green flag to get this afternoon's underway. We have got a slight delay though, Tom, as we expected, because we've got to make sure that this track is okay after a bit of the curb came up at turn 16.
Yeah, on the back of what we saw in Formula 1 free practice 1, a piece of the curb had gone missing or came loose, which brought out the red flag for the best part of 20 minutes. But they just want to make sure that everything is fine at that particular curb before they allow any cars out on circuit. The last thing we want is a driver picking up some form of puncture, which could contribute to a very high-speed accident, and that is something we don't want in this series. Away from that, Leo Fornaroli, 21 points ahead in the championship lead over Luke Browning, who claimed his maiden Formula 2 victory at Monza. A man who is gunning for the as well. And as I've already mentioned, 2 new drivers have joined the grid in place of Max Esterson and Sami Megatuniv. They are Martini Estenstrom, the McLaren Junior, along with Lawrence van Herpen, both of which graduating from Formula 3.
And this morning they were quite impressive as well in the practice session. It was Alexander Dunn who was fastest but stopped on the circuit. Jack Crawford was in P2. And as we wait to see what's going to happen, let's head downstairs and join Chris McCarthy alongside Alex Brundle as we wait for the session to estimate start in around about 3 minutes' time.
Session so far this season. So has Alex Dunn. Believe it or not, though, Leo Fornaroli has been outperformed to his teammates 6-5, but he's been the one that has been super consistent. Well, we've been mentioning Leo Fornaroli. He is our championship leader, doing a fantastic job so far, leading the championship by 21 points, the Italian. Let's hear from Leo Fornaroli going into the weekend.
The layout is very characteristic. There are a lot of 90 degrees corners, which are always very tricky for me because you have to find the good compromise in the entry of the corner without losing too much on the exit. Very long straights, so the toe will help a lot in qualifying. Restarts are always messy in the races because you come with cold brakes and cold tires, so we'll have to be careful in T1. And yeah, to make the difference in qualifying, it will be very important to put a clean and good lap together, trying to do less mistakes as possible, and it's very easy to do a mistake here. There is also some chance of rain, I saw. I think it will be very tricky also because it's a street circuit, so the grip is low. There are a lot of white lines on track, and I felt on the track hole before with my feet on the wet patches, they were very, very slippery. So I think it will be a great challenge. This weekend we'll have great fun.
Our championship leader getting ready to go qualifying round here for the first time, as are the 2 Trident drivers. We welcome in F3 graduates Lawrence van Herpen and Martini Estenstrom, ready to qualify in Formula 2 for the first time. What challenge lays ahead for the 9 drivers out there qualifying around Baku for the first time, Alex?
It's a really tough circuit to get your head around. Fornaroli there giving us a great insight into the key challenges. Brake temperature and the management thereof, as well as tyre temperature, a huge issue. Not a high energy circuit surface, so it's tough to get the energy into the front tyre, not least because you need to manage the brakes here. There's a huge amount of braking energy that goes on through the lap, but they're so often cold when you arrive to deliver that first bit of braking into the first corner. It's a massive G braking zone down there. You don't have a lot of downforce to help you out either, because you don't want to carry it down the long straight that precedes that braking zone. So a really, really tricky moment. Then you've got to thread the eye of the needle through the walls. That bicycle lane, which you just saw on the right-hand side of the shot there, is new for this year. Yeah. And I think it's the those are some of the work lines to which Fornaroli also refers there. Could be really tricky throughout the weekend, not least because they'll rubber in and develop slightly differently from the rest of the racetrack, but also in the wet conditions which we may be expecting for the sprint race tomorrow. As it stands though, in this qualifying session, full dry conditions, and it'll be a case of getting out there, getting the lap in tidily, and maybe also getting a tow, as we saw last time out in Monza, for the drivers who are trying to put their laps in.
Yeah, for that sprint race, Arvid Lindblad will take a 10th-place grid drop after the incidents he had at Monza. But we are green for 30 minutes of qualifying. The interesting thing, I think here, it's not only going to be who pushes the most first, who takes the most risks.
Yeah, and that's going to be the factor as the cars head out to the circuit there, Tom. And this is going to be quite fun now. Half an hour to get going. And, well, he who dares wins around this place.
Yeah, And Alex Brundle mentioned at the end of practice about the camber, which the tyres are sort of facing each other, almost like at a tilt, which is a very interesting point he made at the end of the session, which is going to have a say on how much grip each of the cars are going to have. The only downside to having that kind of setup is the degradation. The degradation is going to be greater with the amount of camber that these drivers exercise. If you look closely on Limpard on the front left there, you can see how it's tilted towards the front of the car as he exits the corner. That's going to give him crucial grip, particularly through the 90-degree corners that will require a substantial amount of grip, which is going to be what contributes to a great lap around the circuit. They haven't done any running on the super soft tyre coming into this session, so it's going to be quite a limbo type situation as to who is going to have the pace. It's anyone's game, as obvious, with it being Formula 2, and it's a one-spec series. All the cars are designed by Dallara, so it's going to come down ultimately to driver skill that will determine who will get pole position and 2 championship points that come with it.
Everyone out there on ultra soft tyres, the quick out tyre compound here this weekend, soft and ultra soft as we mentioned at the top of the show with the intro. A lot of foliage being dropped on the circuit. That is a factor all weekend long that the drivers have to contend with through the turn 7 and 8 complex coming down now into the castle section. Let's hope that the F2 cars, though, they're not going to tend to bring up the curbs as much as the F1 cars are. Lower downforced cars, a lot easier to contend with. The only thing that they've got to worry about is the castle section and not hitting a curb.
Yeah, it's also not pushing too hard either, and thinking that the first lap is where it was going to count. It's not. It's going to be the final lap times, providing that no one brings out a red flag. We see in
it's probably quali is the most crucial with that one, because basically every lap counts, because you don't know if red flag comes out, if the session will restart, or how much time you have after. So it's really where quali is with red flags. But then come to the races, it's more safety car window for the pit stop window in the feature race. Of you need to think about what compound you're starting the tyres on. Most people tend to go with the option tyres here on the hope of an early safety car and gain a bit of time in the pit stop that way.
Yeah, I think Tom as well is going to be I want to say nicer factor between the two, but I reckon we're going to be in for an unusual weekend with F2 and F3. I can expect them having a lot more drama.
Well, that was Clive Hutton who we heard from, not Luke Browning, as I thought we would do. But yeah, I think with F2, with the way this weekend's panning out, it's going to be a very unpredictable. F3 have already concluded their season in at Monza, but F2, who know their way around this circuit very, very well, some of these drivers will have raced here last year and perhaps the year before. They know their way around it, and they've competed in these cars before, so they're no strangers to this circuit. It's been a curveball on an event when it comes to F2, and I think the fact that it's towards the run-in to the season as opposed to the beginning of it, it's going to add another element as to how the championship can end up being decided on the back of this.
It's going to be a critical weekend to get it right with so little time left in Formula 2 this season. As we now take a look at Jack Crawford, who was second fastest this morning, to Alexander Dunn, who ended up having to switch the car off at the end of the session after going off at turn 3. Downhill out of 15 towards 16, and well, as per normal, the F2 train begins towards the castle section as it is a tow qualifying run, and everybody knows exactly what it's going to be like. So it's like a safety car out right now on the circuit as we ride on board with Luke Browning. Ahead would be Sebastian Montoya, and I believe that's going to be Roman Stanek coming through as Jack Crawford set the benchmark 2:04.618. It's not going to be a time at all. Oh, Browning, not there.
Yeah, well, this is going to be an issue when it comes to passing cars when they're doing their flying laps. This is their second prep lap that they're doing before they all begin their flying laps here in Baku. Some will have started their laps now, so they do not want to be getting in the way of cars that are on flying laps like Jack Crawford is on now. He is in need of a good haul of points this weekend. Last weekend at Monza, or the last weekend, didn't come away with anything. The vitally crucial race to rescue Crawford's season.
in we go then through turn 4. Rear sliding out as he puts the power down on those ultra soft tyres. Down now, first sector to 41.179 through 5, 6. Up now towards turn 7 and 8. The castle section approaching. Flicks the car in, that tight turn 7 right-hander. Now through the castle. Cross your fingers, you get through here safely. Very quickly done as well. Wonderful circuit, Baku, as we see up towards the line and now open up the throttle. Year upon year, when we first came here, of course, there was absolutely no markings down on the track. It was a pure base surface of just pure rubber. And then obviously as the surface has stayed, the track lines have come in. Because of course the original plan, Tom, was that, oh, every year we'll come here, we'll put down reusable asphalt. That lasted 2 seasons. They permanently paved it, put down the public road lines, and now it looks like a street circuit, but it's getting more and more, isn't it, as we get the bicycle lanes added and everything, and motorway lines. It's fantastic, because there's a yellow flag out there, so this is going to be a worry for those sector times.
Yep, well, Crawford is heading over the line now with the first competitive lap time, 1:56.1. We saw times in the 1:55s in practice, so we expect the times to come down in due course. Stanek is the first into the 55s. It's a 55.9 for the man from the Czech Republic, as we see Victor Martin come through sector 2 with his first time lap of this session. Alex Dunn aiming for an improved weekend after a really torrid time of it at Monza. We've got the yellow flag out again. We don't know whether someone's gone straight on at the escape road.
Villa Gomez on our timing tower said he's running slowly or stopped, and then he said he's resumed, but I think Rafael Villa Gomez is off somewhere along the line as Martins takes the line. Third fastest. Cordial's stopped now as well. So possibly 2 cars missing as Alexander Dunn goes over the line, does a 1:55.846. Red flag! Red flags come out. So, oh, and into the wall has indeed got the 16 of Amaro Cordial in the road in motorsport. Now, how's he done that? Because that's a rear right suspension. And that's coming... where is that?
That's turn 14.
Yeah.
That's turn 14, Josh. He's hit the barrier in such a really big way. This is probably similar to what Roy Nassani did a few years ago in this championship at that same corner, where he's probably clipped the right-hand side and the car's just swung around on him. And that's not going to please the roading crew one bit at all.
Oh, he got a massive snap of oversteer. Yeah. It's exactly the same.
Yeah, it's the similar thing to what Nissani did, except the fact they didn't spin that time. But yeah, he had to correct some oversteer, and he just caught the edge of that barrier.
I went into the wall. Okay, yeah, I'm fine.
I don't think that was his fault. That's just a wind that's been around here, because that wind's been gusting massively. I don't think he just got caught on a gust through the buildings, which is what Ruth Buscombe actually has told us is very possible at that section of the circuit. Oh, he's whacked the don't drink and drive, but at this point, winded drive to come through. So red flag's out. Can they get it past that barrier? Quite tell. Oh, don't spray it. Go on.
They're going to need a recovery vehicle, because there's no way they're going to be able to tow or get that car pushed behind the barrier. So I would say they'll let the cars go back to the pit lane first, and then get the recovery vehicle dispatched and get that car put away behind the barrier. They'll probably just move it over to where the runoff area is at 15. It's out of the way.
So red flag is out. Alexander Dunn's the fastest, 1:55.846 from Roman Stanek, Gabriel Mini, Victor Martins, Jack Crawford, Kush Miney, Sebastian Montoya, John Bennett, Ollie Goethe, Rita Miata, Joshua Durskin, Clarence Shields. They're the ones who set representative lap times in this session of the top 12. Let's head back down then and join Chris and Alex as the red flag's out with only 7 minutes and 55 seconds of this session completed.
A little bit sketchy.
Nature of a downforce car, particularly on a bumpy circuit. You lose the car ever so slightly. Of course, big load through the steering wheel as well. So it's quite difficult to unwrap all of that load as the driver when you're clinging onto the car to then catch whatever slide it is and then further point the car back in the direction that you want it to go. It's hard to imagine if, you know, you've jumped out, for example, or been driving a road car with power steering, but it actually takes significant physical effort to do that.
In turn 13. Is he all right? Yeah, he's okay, mate. He's okay.
Naturally, Alex Dunn concerned for his teammate.
Yeah, Alex Dunn, of those who crossed the line, fastest. But as you pointed out, straight away, Alex, we had for sure Villa Gomez, Cordial, Browning, Marty, Lindblad, Stenchon, Fornaroli, Van Hoopen, Beganovic. They did not sit a lap, but the force has gone through those tyres. There will be Emery Cordial. He'll be taken off now for checks at the medical centre, and Emery Cordial, a shame for his session that it has to end so prematurely, but good to see he's up and walking away from the car.
Yes, indeed so. The way this qualifying session sits between free practice 1 and free practice 2 of the Formula 1 weekend, we have at times, if these sessions start late, which this one did, and then run extremely long with a red flag, we have seen these sessions shorten, so teams will be mindful of that. I think this is going to be Browning who goes off the road in turn 3 and loses the lap as well. I saw it come up as a track limits issue, but yeah, Browning is not going to be able to complete that one. He's going to have to flick turn the car around, which he finds pretty tricky to do. This is Rafael Villa Gomez as well with a similar issue, perhaps trying to get the brakes working down towards turn 4.
Yeah, correct. Oh, and Dino, well, he went round. That's turn 16.
First one. I don't know what's happened.
Nicely controlled on the exit, I must say, but that's the most important corner of the lap, demonstrated by Dino Beganovic's impatience to get out of the corner there.
Keen to get going.
Yeah.
Down the long start-finish straight, and just a tiny bit too keen.
Yeah.
On the throttle. Turbocharged cars as well, so you bring the throttle in and you always get another bit of secondary power delivery as the turbocharger comes in, which can interrupt the power delivery of the car and often give another challenge for the drivers as they're building power through the exit of a corner just like that.
Well, 2 new drivers on the grid this weekend in at Trident. Martinius Stenchon and Lawrence Van Hoopen, both graduating from Formula 3. Let's hear from Lawrence Van Hoopen and how the opportunity to race in Formula 2 came around.
I mean, at the beginning of the season, we kind of had an idea of doing the F2 after the F3 season finishes, because the F3 finishes quite early. So we always wanted to do this, and then the season didn't exactly go to plan, so it might have been a bit tough. But in the end, yeah, we got the call from Trident to do it, and of course we jumped right at it.
Lawrence Van Hoopen in for the next 2 rounds. Great to have him part of the grid. No doubt this is part of his intentions to come here full time. We know Martinius Stenchon will be racing this weekend as well. So a new lineup in Trident. Not unfamiliar changes happen around this part of the season. Well, there's a way to keep yourself entertained during a red flag.
Yeah.
What will you score that? 5, 6? I mean, 10 for effort.
I mean, if you've ever seen me dance, you'll know that I'm in absolutely no position to be judging. Absolutely none. But, you know, 10 out of 10 for enthusiasm.
10 out of 10 for enthusiasm. That's a way to get ready for a Formula 2 session. Absolutely.
It is. Richard Shaw carrying his new carbon fibre dominated livery into this weekend in stealth mode still from Monza.
It's come down to the marshals as well. We're all getting involved now.
Marshals are grieving.
So some dancing more than others.
Yeah.
Well, we are counting down to the session resumption. There you can see the marshals, who always do a fantastic job everywhere we go to keep us safe and keep us racing.
They do.
The reason
indeed.
we are under the red flag and now yellow is because of the incident for Amaury Cordeal, which happened down at turn 13. There is his car. It's been retrieved. Let's have a look.
So he's going to make his way in then to turn 13. And I think it's just, yeah, he's just lost the rear at the apex. And that will have felt quite something in the car. It really will. Those side-on impacts really rock the chassis. Sometimes a front-on impact in a Formula car, because they're crash tested in that way, can feel not too bad. So I'm told by people who have crashes in them. But a side-on impact really rocks the car. So glad Amaury Cordeal's okay. Also, the sort of impact that can wrench the steering wheel out of the driver's hands. So always cautious about drivers' thumbs and so on. Look at that. Autumn is coming, Chris.
It really is. It really is.
Even though it's still 24 degrees of track temp and 24 degrees of air temp and 36 degrees of track temp, which is 10 degrees hotter than they had earlier on. Softer compounded tyre as well, adding to the challenge. It's a high minimum tyre pressure this weekend because of the extremely long run down towards turn 1, supporting the tyre with air pressure. So all of that adding to the difficulty for the drivers, which they'll be experiencing when we resume in 1.5 minutes time. Yes.
We're not far away now. Not far away. And then we will have the roar of the Formula 2 cars. Who's it going to be on pole position? We've got 8 different pole sitters this season, which matches the record set last season. Sebastian Montoya sat in the car. He has been very consistent this season. Been seeing him up there on the podium. Alex Dunn, 50 points back, and you feel that he needs something like a pole position, really, and a feature race win to pull himself back into championship contention this weekend.
He definitely does. He has all the speed in there for it. And just had a couple of moments recently, some where stewards have laid the blame in his direction, some where they haven't, and it's been clear, but there's been a sort of unfortunate period in terms of total result for Alex Dunn, but nobody's ever doubted his speed and definitely his attack out on the racetrack.
Everywhere we go as well. The Irish flags are always there for him as well. But,
I think that one might have flown economy.
he's building a fan club, that's for sure. But yeah, he's definitely someone who leaves everything out on the track, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's always great to see. The way he drives reminds me so much of how Oliver Behrman took on a Formula 2 car.
Yeah.
Full attack, full on lead in petrol all the way round, and it's good to see. A little bit spicy on the exit of the pit lane there, and we go again, Chris, for 21 minutes remaining of this qualifying session. First man out will be Alex Dunn after his teammate found his way into the wall. They're building brake and tyre temperature once more.
Alex Dunn making his way round. We're going to get a couple of build-up laps here, so whilst we're in this process, let's hear from McLaren Junior Alex Dunn, who's been out in some FP1 sessions with McLaren this season, and we spoke to him about that coming into the weekend.
I think my FP1 probably wasn't quite as strong as it was in Austria, but it was still really cool. I think every time I've jumped in, whether it be next to Lando or Oscar, I think from both drivers I've learned a lot, and I think for me that's really important as a young driver trying to develop as much as possible. So from that point of view, I learned a lot from Lando during the session, just as much as I did with Oscar in Austria. And I think as a driver, it's always a confidence boost knowing that McLaren are giving me those opportunities. I think it was my second FP1 of the year, so to know that they were comfortable enough after Austria to give me another opportunity is always really nice. And I was also really happy with jumping back into F2 this time. I think jumping back into F2 in Austria was really difficult, and I struggled a bit in quali, where in Monza, it was a session field with red flags, and I only got to do 2 proper laps and still qualified 5th. So I think jumping back from FP1 this time was a step in the right direction, which was really nice.
Yeah, and he's fast at the moment after being fastest in practice this morning. 1:55.846 on the board for Alexander Dunn, Tom. And with 20 minutes to go, he's going to start yet another lap time. Now we're really going to see who's got the fastest times, because that red flag came at the wrong moment of the session as everyone was on better runs, as Cordeal will now lose his fastest lap time for causing said red flag.
Which he doesn't have a representative lap anyway,
No.
to score deal. So he will start at the back of the grid. He will need to be granted permission by the stewards to race as well, because he's outside the 107% rule. But I'm sure he'll get into the race via the stewards' discretion. Luke Browning on a fast lap, the man second place in the standings, feature race winner at Monza. What can he do? Well, he's behind his teammate Dino Beganovic, who's going to give him that crucial tow down the pit straight. Well, we know that Dino Beganovic is not in the championship fight, so if he's not in the championship fight, the best thing he's going to do is help Luke as best as possible.
And he's going to do just that as well, and help in every which way he can. If you look at Browning now sliding through at turn 5 and 6, down to turn 7, from 4th gear down into 1st gear, rise back up 2nd, 3rd, don't go into 4th, just drop down to 2nd of the castle section, hold that gear and ratio. He's gone a little bit wide there, Tom, actually, so he compromised him through the exit. The car was all out of shape as he comes around now 13, 14, 15.
Yeah, and this is the section where Cordeal had his accident and got through fine as Browning that time around, but does he get the car slowed down? But turn 15, you see a little twitch as he's about to rotate, but got the car filtering through nicely at that left-hander, and now this is the crucial point in the circuit. He does not want too much throttle on the exit in a turbocharged machine like he's in. Out of the final complex of corners, you saw a slide there, ever so slightly from Browning, pushing ever so hard. Now he's going to get the crucial tow from his teammate Dino Beganovic. Is it going to be enough for Browning to pip past Alex Dunn for the time being? Alex Dunn's not at a better lap time. Beganovic goes second, displaced by Browning.
But he's matched it! Look at that! Browning and Dunn have done exactly the same time! 1:55.596. That's unbelievable, but I'm interrupting myself because look at Fornaroli, who's getting just the same tow over the line by Marti, and he's gone faster! 1:55.190. Martin second, 2/10 down. Montoya fifth. Kushmani's on a better lap time. They're all getting the tow. Crawford's got the fastest first sector. He's in the lap time too. Crawford will come over the line shortly. Mini's first up. He's giving the tow to Crawford. Mini fastest by 1,000th. 4/10 quicker goes Crawford. What a close session this is. 4/10 faster. Where did that lap time come from Crawford?
This is a replay of Fornaroli, who I think is going to run very, very close to the barrier. So that part was fine. Oh, he actually touched the barrier. He touched the Tech Pro as he exited turn 15. Did Fornaroli. It was a kiss. He hit it at the right angle, though, so he'll get away with that. But Alex Dunn is on a fast lap now. He's gone purple in sector 1. He's heading towards turn 15, Josh.
Down we come. First sector was good. Controls the rear slide, drops down 27 metres to sea level, level with the Caspian as they come through. Go on.
Yeah, he's hit the barrier. Just look at his steering wheel.
Yes.
It's all askew. He's hit the barrier somewhere, has Alex Dunn.
Alexander Dunn has hit the barrier and now his lap time is over. So he's now dropped in, where is he on the timing screen? 5th position with the same time as Browning, as we said earlier on. So this is going to be a worry. Can't see anything. Is the front wing damage there, looking at it? Definitely suspension.
Yeah, it's something on the rear, Josh, that he's hit. I think he's hit the barrier somewhere around the lap.
Yep.
He was fast through steps to 1, team radio.
Stop and have a look at it.
The castle section strikes to me he's done it, because he was fast in sector 1. So I reckon he's touched something coming through the castle. can't see which side it is, which is really annoying. But the Irishman is in a lot of trouble. Checking the wing. The wing looks okay.
Wing's fine.
Yeah.
It's the rear suspension that's the problem. They need to look at that.
It's castle section. Do you have a mid-corner? Oh no, there it is. Front right.
Yeah, front right.
Top of the hill at the castle. So it's past the castle section. Just... Is the barrier loose?
No, I don't think so.
That looked like it was not... That barrier looked like it was sort of sticking out acute. That's just a tolling. That should be a quick fix. 10 minutes max. He'll get out with a lap time to go. It's just a tolling. A lot of work has been done on the front suspensions after 1994 when Damon Hill couldn't restart the race. So the team's put a lot of effort into that. The drone's in operation. That's a lovely camera angle, actually. Look at Fornaroli, though. 40.5 in the first sector, Tom.
Yep, very fast first sector. We're looking at Bogdanovic, who's heading towards turn 15. We saw how close Fornaroli got to the barrier the last time he was on a fast time. As he heads towards the left-hander, yellow flag is out somewhere on the circuit. We don't know for certain which part of the racetrack that is, but Bogdanovic is heading through turn 16. Browning is directly behind him, but it feels to me like Bogdanovic is on a faster time to what Browning is producing.
Let's see if Fornaroli comes through that second sector. Yes, he does, and he's up by 2 tenths. Where is that yellow? Is that on the start-finish line? Oh, Bogdanovic has come through into the pits. I think that's because there was a yellow flag out. I think there was a yellow on the back straight, and he saw it and thought, well, I'm not going to improve here. But we've gone green now. Whatever that yellow flag was for, Joshua Durskin, I'm being told, had got off the escape road. As Fornaroli comes over the line, Marty goes 7th. Fornaroli, oh, he's 19,000 off of Crawford. Wow! This is insane, the level that they're getting to right now. Just so close between them all.
A shout out to Stenshon in P8, Josh, which would be enough for him to start 3rd on the grid for tomorrow's sprint race.
In his first one, that's impressive. Clan Shields comes into the pit lane as well. Durskin has resumed. So several drivers now coming into the pit lane. So it's Crawford on top from Fornaroli, Mini, Martins, Dunn, Browning, Marty, Stenshaw, Stanak, Montoya, Bogdanovic, Villagomez, Verschoor, Durskin, Bennett, Maney, Lindblad, Goethe, Miata, Van Hopen, Shields, and of course Cordeal, who never set the competitive lap time. He's out of it. Okay, 12 minutes to go. Let's head back downstairs to the boys.
And do a further out lap that you weren't expected to do. So there's that to be considered as well. Oliver Rowland over the side of the car there, having a bit of a chat with Arvid Limby.
Our former world champion.
He was 7 years old. Ollie Rowland has been with Arvid ever since he began his karting journey all the way through till now. He's had a great season himself as well. Ollie Rowland.
Formula E world champion.
When he was racing at this level either, did he? Great to have him in the paddock. There is Gabriele Mini, made his debut here last season, jumping in for Behrman and got himself on the podium.
Get me a drink. Yeah, Gabriele Mini in the middle of the session here. Right then, trying to fix this steering arm for Alex Dunn. And get him back out in the session. So they've gone for it. They've taken that apart. So now teams will time these changes when they do them at other times for a race weekend. So there will be a head mechanic there who will have a time in mind that it takes to fix exactly this part in exactly this way, and they'll know how long that's going to take them and make a judgment call on whether they think they can do it and get it back out for the end of the session. They obviously think they can. The curveball is when you get those parts off and you find further nasties inside the bodywork or further down the line. So going to be interesting to see if they manage to get that car back out on the racetrack. And feeling that they need to change that part for Alex Dunn, and it is going to be beneficial definitely for him to have the car absolutely sorted, much as we have seen Oliver Bell in set pole here with bent suspension. It's hardly optimal.
Just to clear up a couple of things. Montoya did come up for a bit of an investigation for an unsafe release. It's been reviewed, no further investigation. And you would have seen Emery Cordial as well about being investigated after the session for causing a red flag. It would be down to his lap being deleted, but he's going to be at the back anyway, so we won't really see any penalty to him. Okay, 10 minutes to go. Find a good space to have a watch, and there you go. That's not a bad place at all.
Watch from the battlements. The castle.
Exactly that.
It's a very narrow. It's a very narrow staircase up there, but it's a good place to watch.
I imagine it is.
Place to watch.
Especially when we're going to have 21 F2 cars about to come out onto the circuit all together. So.
Yep, here they all come then, and it's not like we see an F1 Tom where they're all just lounging around. They're all out straight away, ready to go, and you know they mean business.
Yeah. Well, Leo Fornaroli second in on the timing pages as he heads back out onto the racetrack. And whilst we are, well, there are some who have been watching around motorsport for some time. Well, there's some that are only just getting themselves started with it. And who knows? Maybe the next generation within my family could be the next to follow motor racing, not just Formula 1, but other championships like F2 as well. Alex Dunn's car's still been worked on by the Rodin crew. It feels like they've got that sorted. I just hope that doesn't contribute to any more problems for Dunn, because when you make changes like that or get something that's repaired, it's never going to be 100%, is it? Especially when having to swiftly get that car turned around as he heads out of the pit lane.
Interesting, it's been noted by the stewards, the turn 7 instance, so that's a little surprising. Let's have for Fornaroli.
Not a lot of time to waste, so if people really messes around, overtake.
Yeah, because they need to do push, cool, push on a 2-minute lap. That's already 6 minutes on the clock. And if you get a red flag, you can't really balance this one up. So sort of push as hard as you can is the question, and the standpoint coming into this one. As we now see
they're going to need 2 laps to get the car tyres into the optimum window before they start pushing JB.
Yeah.
There may be 20 corners, but a lot of them are kinks. So they're going to need 2 prep laps to get the tyres into the window, then do a flying lap, then do a cool down lap, and then with seconds remaining, they'll get over the line for one more attempt. That is the mindset to those who are at the head of the queue.
Again, warming up their tyres. They'll do a double build-up as well. Crawford on top by literally hardly anything. 154.791 compared to 154.810. So they're completely matched on delta time as they come down towards turn 1. This very much still the build-up that time. And you'll see the sector times not improving that much either. They'll stay yellow. But yeah, Cordial's time, by the way, he will start this race from the back of the grid, both the sprint and the feature. So Tom, that's his weekend done at a track where he's had a lot of good performances in the past. But of course, he got banned here 2 years ago.
Alex Dunn is a long way off the queue, but I suppose the benefit he'll have is he will keep the tyres operating whilst those are going at slower speeds, because the slower you go when you are warming the tyres up, the more likely that the temperature within the tyres drop off before you actually start pushing for real. If Alex Dunn can just keep going at the speed he's doing without taking too much life out of them before he starts going flying lap, he's going to be the one to look out for the most.
Here we go to turn 2, very much still a build-up lap. Impressive work by the team to get that, by Rodin Motorsport, to get that front right suspension fixed and a new toe link fitted. Let's take a look at Martin's, the castle section. Everyone's too close together, Tom. This is still build-up laps. This is a bit ridiculous.
It may well be, but they'll leave each other space. Turn 7 involving Dirksen and Van Herpen will be investigated after the session. I wonder if one has impeded the other when they were doing one was doing a flying lap and the other wasn't.
Bizarre how it's all coming about. That's a couple around turn 7. We already know that Dunn was under investigation for something similar on that part of the circuit as well. Still 5 minutes to go. See, no one's improved on the sector times. Now this is the run for the laps. Let's see who's got this one in the bag as we go over the start-finish line now, down towards turn number 1, and these lap times now begin. Under braking into the first corner. Don't lock up anything as you flick the car in. Control the acceleration at the exit, and Richard for sure, third in the championship so far, looking very strong as he enters turn number 2, opens up the DRS on the backstretch and heads down towards turn 3 again. Moves over a bit of the foliage into the racing line, and at the first sector time coming up a bit later, it's already a strong lap time. But of course, the one thing you don't want to do is outbrake yourself and go straight on the track.
Yep, even the most minimal of
big one there!
That's Martin, isn't it?
Yes, yes! Big one, red flag's going to come out for sure. Victor Martins has ploughed into the wall, the red flag's out. That came in such a speed. And that's right at the exit of the Tech Pro barrier at turn 3. That is a big, big crash. He's out of the car, putting the steering wheel back on. But a huge whack. And, well, this will be a bit of a lengthy one while they repair the barrier. 10 minutes max, but that's a big repair job. And the brake's on fire as well, Tom, because that was a sudden stop and it whacked into the side of the monocoque.
Yeah, he's urgently wanting a fire extinguisher to put that out. He needs that to be put out very, very quickly here. So Marshall gets a fire extinguisher, and so does Victor Martin. That was a big, big hit into the barrier. It's typical Formula 2 in a way, because they've got the brakes up to temperature, maybe too hot to the point where they basically lost all the temperature, or just overheated before he even got there. So this is a replay of Martin. What does he do here? He just locked up.
Brakes were on fire immediately, you saw it as well.
Yeah.
Zachar says, don't outbrake yourself. And they was looking at no one else went into him. So locks up on the inside front left, as we keep pointing out this weekend. That's the tyre that is off camber, off the load. Easy to lock up because all the pressure going down to the front right. So as soon as you hit the brakes to turn the car in, all the pressure goes down. You turn left, the pressure goes front right. Front left rises up. It's easy to snatch the brake on as we take a look at Alan Permain on the other camera screen there, who's doing the team's press conference. But the red flag is out once again. And we will keep going. We've got no other track action, so we have time to wait to get the full time in. But Victor Martins, he'll lose his fastest lap time as well, let's not forget. And he was running 4th on a 1:55.395 time, so this is bad news for his weekend. If they can even repair that car, because I reckon it's damaged the tub the way that's gone in.
Yeah, well, they've got it out the barrier more or less now, but it's left a huge, huge hole in that Tech Pro. And that's going to need an extensive amount of repair work
before falling off.
They do.
The wheel's completely. The tether's broke.
I think the wheel is still attached. You can see the tethers have mostly keep the tyre attached to the suspension, because that's what they are designed to do. And tethers have been around in single-seater racing for a very, very long time now. And the whole point of these tethers is to stop the tyres from separating from the suspension or go flying into the crowd, which is a throwback to like a generation or two ago.
1994, of course, is when start line crash at San Marino, when that fateful weekend where everything went wrong. A tyre ended up in the crowd as well. That wheel, though, all that's left of that wheel is the tether, because the suspension's completely gone. That's why I thought the wheel had completely come off, but the tether's done a remarkable job. The car's up in the air now, being craned away, and the tether's just dragging along the floor. So Crawford's still on top, but the red flags come out. Well, once again, let's head it back downstairs. This is a half-an-hour session, by the way. We've already been here 45 minutes trying to get this one done. So let's head back down to the boys.
Getting any barrier work done. Hopefully we can get this 4 minutes and 22 completed. So Victor Martins, he'll be investigated after the session for causing that red flag, and that tends to be his fastest lap deleted. So we'll see where that leaves him once everything shakes out. Leo Fornaroli, we mentioned how consistent he's been. Only he and Dunn have been in the top 10 in every session, and he looks to be continuing that. 200s back from Crawford. Mini, what a session this will be for him as well.
Yeah, great session for Gabriele Mini, driver 13th in the championship at the moment. What's going to go on here? Up next to the wall for John Bennett on the outside of turn 1. Lovely car control.
Yeah.
Through the exit, trying to get the power down, slightly wide there. It's still dusty offline, and that's the problem you have. Getting too deep at a circuit like this, not only do you become close to the wall with no runoff, there's also way less grip because you're off the established racing line. Drivers on the racing line shovel all the normal street dust and dirt out into the wider sections of the racetrack. As soon as you miss ever so slightly, it just gets worse and worse. A plethora of pole sitters throughout this year. Gabriele Mini has not been one of them, but this is a great opportunity for him to start in the position he finished in the sprint race back in Spa.
Still doing work on that car. Just gives them time to work on that before what is really going to be a sprint to the line, isn't it? They'll just need the one lap to warm the tyres up, and then they'll go for it, and there won't be any case of finding a position. I think it's just going to be a real sprint out there. Here we go. This is why we're under red flag. Let's watch this again.
Tech Pro barriers are pretty modular, and in fairness to Victor Martinstedt, management of the brakes so difficult at this venue, and I think just the car not really giving him the brake performance that he initially wanted, and then eventually snapping into life. But we've seen so many incidents here in those first couple of corners with drivers struggling, almost like they need a material with a wider operating range here to give the teams and the drivers the chance to work in those early phases of the lap.
It's a crash we've seen so many times, that one. There we can see 2015 GP2 champion Stoffel van Dorn for ART. Great to see him in the pit lane watching on. Richard Verschoor in his car for MP.
Been uphill so far, hasn't it, for Richard Verschoor this session? Every time he seems to get up ahead of steam, there's not the opportunity to complete the lap. Big gaps as well, some of the biggest of the year, of course, because we've been stuck with drivers not gaining their optimum lap time.
Yeah, Joshua Dirksen, somewhat of a celebrity back in Paraguay with the work he's been doing on circuits. We spoke about that on Thursday when we had a chat with him. It's noticed when he goes back home. Luke Browning, 4th to 2nd in the championship. He did good work at Monza. Look to continue that, as 6th place would leave him with a good chance to score points in both races. But Leo Fornaroli is the person he wants to try and out-qualify. So that will be his mission. Arvid Lindblad, well, this would be a disappointing result for him, 17th. He dropped to the back of the field for the sprint race with that grid drop.
Yeah, I mean, for Arvid, it's all about the feature race, isn't it? Yeah. It's all about, because the sprint race will be his significant penalty. Pepe Marti sitting in 7th position at the moment. Listen, we always talk about the banker laps here. This is what you mean, right? You have so many interrupted sessions around this place. Trying to get those banker laps in, they're just as important. It's easy to just cruise a lap in at the beginning of the qualifying session. You get to the end, you've not actually managed to complete a further lap with everything that's happened, and you go, oh God, I could have pushed harder at the early phase of the session. Beganovic gave a toe out to his teammate that I imagine that he was hoping to get back in this final phase of the session as well.
Yeah, absolutely. He looks incredibly relaxed, doesn't he, Dino? Getting himself ready for this session. I'm sure just building up to what is going to be the final 4 minutes, getting himself in the zone, and that's a big part of every process for the driver, how they prepare mentally going into a race, a qualifying session, and we spoke about just that to Alex Dunn coming into the weekend.
My mindset is still the same. I think the last couple of weekends have been, I think realistically only Hungary and Monza were the more difficult ones. I think before that it was strong, we just got penalties. So I think I've sat down a lot with the team and we've looked through everything to make sure that the little things that we can do better to avoid having penalties or putting ourselves in the wrong place, whatever it may be. I think I've sat down with them for a while to look through all of that to make sure it doesn't happen again. And then I think in terms of, let's say, racing approach, I think what we've done this year has always been strong. So I think from that side, the mindset doesn't need to change too much. We just need to approach it the same way, because I feel like we've always been in the place during the weekend.
Alex Dunn's made a tremendous step forward this year. He was a fantastic racer in F4, in GB3, was very successful. In F3, he had a difficult season, didn't he? And I think many would have expected him to hang around for another year, but stepping into F2, immediately fighting for the championship, and he's been straight away from the start. He's never left that championship fight, really. A brief step back now, really, but he's up there 5th in this qualifying session. It's been very impressive.
First win in Formula 2 in Bahrain.
Yeah.
Towards the beginning of the year, 4 races into the championship, 5 times on the podium, led the championship. Yep. Various stages. It has been really impressive, hasn't it, from Alex Dunn, a driver I think who took off with more power underneath the right foot. Reminds me a little bit of Paul Aaron in that way, who just stepped up in a Formula 2 car. Richard Shaw with a tremendous amount of experience. Cian Shields just waiting to get going again, if at all possible. Driver looking to still take his first points of the year. This could be a weekend where he could do it with a little bit of extreme running. And then a reminder of the driver standings then: Fornaroli, Browning, Vashaw, Crawford, Dunn and Marty. The drivers really in a fruitful championship position at this point.
Yeah, we got 11 who can mathematically win, but likely we're going to drop to around 6 by the end of this weekend, and those will be the 6. Hence why we have those on the screen for you. The top 4 in particular, 37 between them, they look really the ones who can take this all the way to the end, and Alex Dunn with a good result can start to bring himself back into main contention as well. Pepe Marti would need some really big results to turn things around over the course of the next 3 rounds, but can still play a part in how things turn out ahead of him, particularly qualifying up in 7th, which is going to be a good result for him. It's at this stage, though, isn't it, where championship starts to come into play. We take a 2-month sabbatical after this before a double header to conclude the season, so you want to leave this round knowing I've had a good weekend, I'm in a good position for the championship. You don't want to be thinking for 2 months, what am I going to do going into those final 2 rounds?
Well, they'll think that anyway.
Yeah, true.
But seldom do Formula 2 championships close out early.
Yeah.
In a little bit of experience I've had at the series, it tends to go down to the wire. It is a big long gap, isn't it, through to what is really the conclusion of the Formula 1 season. Yeah. And I always think it's really tough for the drivers to have to jump back in. We saw after the summer break, actually, in Monza, drivers, I think, a little bit rusty, race rusty, after the gap. Yeah. And I wonder if well, I know it is very much the same when they come back after that big break. So it's gonna be interesting to see who traverses that gap the best of the championship contenders. And then of course it takes a different angle once more, because you have that intense pressure. I mean, there's always pressure at this level of trying to deliver week in, week out, and all the points matter the same when you come to the end of the year. But when it's happening now in this race, is the one that's going to make the difference in the championship. In the driver's mind, it really affects their mindset.
Absolutely. Well, Sebastian Montoya, we've seen him on the podium throughout this season. He's getting himself ready for this session, but he was awake and speaking to us coming into the weekend. Let's see what he had to say about his recent races.
I would say definitely the last couple of rounds haven't been exactly what we've been wanting. We had a couple good races, and I think we found a really good area. It's just the past couple of weekends we've had a bit of issues here and there, mistakes from my side as well that do happen, and F2 being so tight, those mistakes are quite costly, and I think we've learned that. And with the team, we've tried to really figure out what we should try to improve and where we're missing, and I think it's been quite well. So I'm really excited for this weekend. This is a track that I don't know at all. Luckily, Gabi was here last year, so he has a bit of experience, and I really tried to use that when we were on the sim to really use the experience he has on the circuit, and also from previous years. Ollie had an amazing weekend here. Kimi was really quick last year, so using that experience to have a good baseline for free practice.
Another driver who's definitely, I think, improved with more power, hasn't he? He's just enjoyed the F2 category, enjoyed being back with Prema as well, as a team he raced with when he was in the junior ranks, left them for a while, but reunited with them. He seems very happy, and he's led that team this year in Formula 2, which paired with Gabriele Mini, I don't think everyone saw coming, but he's proved some people wrong there.
Yeah, I mean, a driver who's sitting 9th in the championship, well clear of any positioning that he achieved in the Formula 3 championship, has really come on this year, taken 3 podiums by my reckoning throughout the season so far, and has really taken to it in his first year in the series. Sebastian Montoya is going to be one of those drivers into the winter break that teams are going to be ringing for next season. He's got second season contender written all over him for me, and has demonstrated what he needs to demonstrate in order to achieve that. It's not going to be his this year. 81 points for him at the moment. He'd need just under 100 points to make it up to the dizzy heights of championship lead. But I think the pace that he's shown through the second part of this season has been fantastic.
Yeah, one of the first things he said is he came into the season, he just felt more refreshed, more physically in shape than he'd ever been, and it seemed he just reset himself, and it seems to have made all the difference for him coming into this year. Seems to be really enjoying his racing and had a bit of a confidence boost, and it's made all the difference for him. Great to see him going along so well. Very talented driver is Sebastian Montoya, and I think you're absolutely right, and he can be a one to watch for next year.
What a lovely fan zone it is.
That is very.
It looks really neat and tidy, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm a fan.
I'm a fan of the fan zone.
I'm a fan of the fan zone.
Try and rank fan zones. You'll be delighted to hear that since we've run out of things to say, the session will restart at 3 o'clock. The brooms are out, and we've returned, Chris.
That's fantastic.
After Monza, where we were sort of a very kind of witchy middle of the century number, we've returned to a modern broom type here.
Yes. It looked like you can jump on those and fly away.
Yeah, it did. It looked like they sort of hacked a conifer down, didn't it? And built them in the infield. Still effective against gravel, but I like a modern broom if I can. That was with the times.
That was a modern fan zone. It's a modern broom to go with it, and you'll be happy to know we're gonna now talk racing. Oh, but before that though, I'm a fan of those. We've got Luke Browning. Luke Brown. We got F2 fan cards. There you go.
Trading cards.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw yours somewhere in there. We'll try and get a shot of it somewhere. Okay, green flag is now out. Here we go.
Interview points 100, driving point 25.
I don't know what mine would say if one was out there. 4 minutes and 10 seconds to go. What's going to be the tactic for the drivers now? It's going to be very different to what we've seen before.
We're operating with the cold tyre now, So they're going to have to try and build it up to temperature. They'll be working backwards from the end, last across the line stuff, and you can already see there Montoya getting out onto the racetrack and getting going. This is going to be all about seeing if you can get a lap in. It's going to vary a lot. Those who already have a sensible lap on the board can afford to be more conservative and build the tyre up. Those who really need a lap and are down at the back, I'm thinking Lindblad, Goethe, Miata, and Hoop and Shields, Cordeals got out of the session. But, you know, those who are out of it meaningfully in terms of the laps they've set need to get round and get a lap in.
Yep, and this, I think, Tom, is going to be quite the momentum because they're going to be flat out for one lap only. They won't get another one round. 3 on the clock, 2 minutes on the board, plus an out lap. The next time by will probably be the last one.
Yep, so they're going to have to weave across the circuit to get some tyre temperature, and quite urgently. At least they've scrubbed through these already, so they shouldn't really need to do that extra lap anyway to get the tyres into the window. But Dunn will most certainly want to be getting on with this. Martin's time is still due to be deleted if it isn't already so, which I wonder if anyone else ends up in the wall, that will be that, and Jack Crawford will most likely be on pole.
So 1:55.395. No, that time deletion's come in the moment. It would drop him down. Of course, they lose the fastest time. The second fastest then becomes available, but Martins doesn't have that run around on the clock. So, yeah, it's a tricky one, this, to keep up the action and up the ante, but the racing continues on, and we're about to have some more qualifying laps with less than 2 minutes on the clock. Here comes Alexander Dunn, who gets another opportunity after hitting the wall and damaging the front right suspension. Down to turn 1, hard on the brakes. Second gear, little lock up, but manages to roll it out. It's okay so far. Thomas coming to turn 2. DRS open with a car in front of him. Yeah, he's got this one in the bag if he can just hold it through. First sector's time so far looks very smooth.
Yeah, I mean, enormous amount of front grip as well. You just saw the way he nailed the apex of turn 2, putting it really close to the barrier, which is what you should do if you are Alex Dunn. How does he get on through turn 3? It's splendid as well. You can see the leftover fluid of some degree from Victor Martin's crash earlier.
No.
And the yellow flag is out again. And
it's a red flag. It's a red flag now, yeah, and that's it. Session's over. Crawford has pole. 1:54.791. That's it. The red flag with 68 seconds on the clock completely turns over the session. So who's caused it this time? Oh, it's a big accident for Roman Stanek, and that is a huge accident. All sides have got off. Now, is there multiple cars in there? Yes, there is. The 24 of John Bennett is involved. 2 cars off have come together in a huge accident at the end of qualifying. The session will not be resumed. That's exit of turn 1. Well, that's unusual.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that they didn't maybe allow all those ahead to finish their final laps, because they would have slowed down for turn 1 anyway, but it's just the fact that there's so much debris down there, and if you're sending marshals out there, I mean, they wouldn't need to send marshals out straight away because the cars would be slowing down for that section of the course. But that is a big, big accident there. Stanek will have gone into the barrier first, I think, and then John Bennett just collected him.
Oh, that's full of Rowley. Oh!
Oh no! It's an unsafe rejoin.
Stanek coming back, he goes off at turn 1, rejoins directly into the path of John Bennett. Well, that's nothing to do with Bennett at all. That is completely on Stanek. What on earth was he thinking there? That's a complete and utter stupid rejoin.
Stanek just rejoined completely into the racing line into me. What the man?
That's a race ban, isn't it, Tom? That is so dangerous.
It probably won't be a race ban, but that will most certainly be some penalty points. And because he caused the red flag, he'll lose his lap time, and he'll end up getting a grid penalty for causing the collision. I reckon that'll be a 10-place grid drop for an unsafe rejoin there for Roman Stanek.
Getting him some glasses and getting him to Specsavers. That is ridiculous. Just completely rejoins at full kilt into oncoming traffic. Wow. That's it from Crawford.
Good job, man. Good job. Well done. And now you do it, baby.
Just wouldn't stop today. The red flags. Taps his car for the dams. Crawford has pole position. Right, well, Tom, what do you make of that session? It took an hour to complete.
Yeah. That we spoke about brakes, didn't we? And then obviously Stanix's incident was caused by brakes somewhat because he went straight on at turn 1, but that's no excuse for coming back into the path of John Bennett at all. Stanek will end up losing his lap because he caused the red flag. He'll get penalty points because he caused the incident, and he'll also get a grid penalty for causing the incident as well. He'll probably end up starting from the back of the grid for the sprint race. Lindblad, with his penalty, he'll also start at the back of the grid, and Martin will lose his fastest lap time, but I don't know where that is going to end up. He could still even end up on reverse ball out, Victor Martin, if he's lucky.
That is true, actually. So right now, Montoya's got reverse grid pole, but there are penalties to still be applied, which is going to make this a very confusing grid, but that's always the way with Baku. I send it back downstairs to the boys. Tom will be back at the end of the session.
Yeah, correct.
As the sole cause.
Yeah.
Interesting wording, but of that red flag. So we'll see if anything goes on after the session with regards to that. Well, something will go on. It just depends what it is.
Yeah, that's a provisional. That's a provisional order, and it's surrounding what could be the front row of the sprint race, effectively.
So Stanek has been picked up then for causing the red flag, and as you correctly say, Chris, it has.
Sky Sport. Oh, wow, okay. Sky just completely turning on the end of qualifying there. Okay, final thoughts from you then, Tom.
Classic. Offers 2 championship points for the pole position. Fornaroli, championship leader, impressing once again. But of course, we await to see what the grid will be for tomorrow, with all the penalties being applied and lap times being deleted.
Over an hour to get things sorted here. What a session. We'll be back in around about half an hour for all the action from the F1 second practice. But from Formula 2, one thing we do know for sure, Jack Crawford has pole position. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.